Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. So today's tip is host a dinner party. And you're probably thinking, how is spending more money on groceries and feeding more people saving me money? I will explain. When I was younger, we went out to eat a lot, way more than we probably should have. I mean, we went to brunch, we went to coffee, went out after the bars, everything. Well, I was the first one in the friend group to move out on my own. And so I was the first one having to pay rent and having to pay electric and having to pay bills. I mean, everybody else still lived with mom and dad. Mom and dad paid for their pager or their. Well, I had a cell phone. They didn't. But they didn't have, I mean, like, they could spend their money on whatever they want, clothes or food or whatever. I had bills to pay. Well, I quickly discovered that I could have everybody over, make dinner, and actually spend less than I would on my meal going out. So I always had coffee in the house. And when we were young, it worked because everybody pretty much drank coffee or tea, sometimes soda, but soda used to be cheap. You could get like a 12 pack, or I'm sorry, you could get a case of 12-ounce cans, like 24 12-ounce cans for like $3 to $5. $5 was regular price. So soda wasn't as expensive as it is now. But I had two main meals I made. I either made penne pasta with pesto and chicken, and the chicken I marinated in the pesto, and then I served it with fresh grated Parmesan and garlic bread. So that was pretty cheap. And then the other meal I made was spaghetti pie with garlic bread. Sometimes I didn't add the garlic bread, but everybody loved the spaghetti pie. I mean, they liked both, but I would get requests. I would get requests for the spaghetti pie. Both simple meals, both easy to make, and both were kind of my signature dishes. And I mean, I made other stuff sometimes too. Like, I remember my ex really liked eggs Benedict, and so did my best friend. And so one day I had her over and I made them eggs Benedict for brunch. That's a pain in the butt. You have to have the double boiler and this, that, and the other, and be careful that it doesn't curdle. And I hate eggs Benedict. I hate making it. I hate eating it. But you have options, and then you can choose. Is it going to be BYOB? Is it going to be coffee and tea? Are you going to have wine? Are you going to provide the wine? Is somebody else going to bring the wine? But the other thing you can do then is that once you get it established, you all can rotate. So you can all rotate who has it each month. So, maybe you do it in January and friend B does it in February and friend C does it in March, whatever works for you. And you can adapt and work around people's schedules. If you have a friend like me, I'm really weird. I don't eat out. I don't eat at people's houses. I only eat what I make. That's just my weird quirk. But I could easily just bring my meal, and if it fit into a time frame when I would eat, I could eat there. I mean, heck, I bring my lunch to work and eat there, so what's the difference? But I'm so sorry. Accommodations can be made for allergies and quirkiness and such. So, that's an option. And for less than you're going to pay for one meal out for one person, you can feed multiple people. I mean, it's really about the meals you choose. And maybe you can't cook. It's not that hard to learn. There's YouTube. There's cooking channels. I mean, I didn't think I'd be able to make fried rice, and now I make fried rice like once every, I normally make it like once a week for like 2-ish weeks, and then the tofu's out, and then I take a week or two off, and then I do it again. But I make fried rice a lot. And I never thought I could do that. I never would have guessed, not in my wildest dreams, that I could make fried rice. But it's actually really easy. Um, it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be something simple and affordable like pasta. I mean, I remember when I was little, I would have been 4 or 5. We lived in Colorado at the time. My mom, sorry, had a huge like dinner party buffet style or something like that. I want to say it was like 10, 20 people there, and she had like spaghetti. It was pretty simple. I think she did like a homemade sauce. But having a dinner party doesn't have to be expensive, and it doesn't have to be fancy. So I used to have dinner parties all the time, right? And my first apartment was awful. It was an attic apartment, so like the bedroom was like all ceiling. I mean, for the entire time I lived there, every morning I woke up and hit my head on the ceiling getting out of bed. Every single morning. Oh, wait, no. There was like one that I didn't, but that's because my boyfriend like grabbed my head before I did. But I, it was horrible. I had 30-year-old carpet, and I know it was 30 years old or more because my uncle owned the building before my landlord, and he'd installed the carpet 30 some years ago. It was ugly. It was like the texture of school carpeting, but it was these ugly stripes and bold and muted colors and different sizes, and just ugly and dirty and dingy. And no matter how much I cleaned it, I couldn't get it out. And I had like the ugliest couch and the ugly old lazy boy. Heck, for the first year, I didn't even have a TV. Well, from January until the end of November. So for the first 11 months, I didn't even have a TV at my apartment. But people came over. People loved coming over, even without the TV. It's not like we just watched movies. I mean, we always entertained ourselves. Even when alcohol wasn't involved, even with no TV, we still would. I would pull out a folding table and chairs, I want to say, and I would, you know, serve dinner in the living room. It wasn't fancy. It was fun though. I mean, honestly, that apartment, for as awful as it was, no shower, only a tub, every possible challenge. It was fun. It was the best time ever because it wasn't about money. It was about being with friends and freedom and getting to hang out with people. And so I understand it's busy and it's another thing. But the next time you and your friends go out to eat or are going to go out to eat, I suggest bringing up the idea of a rotating dinner party or a rotating brunch because you could save tons of money overall. And if there's 12 friends, that's like going out once a year or paying to go out once a year instead of 12 times. If there's 6, then it's like going twice instead. I mean, you can figure it out. It's not that hard. But today's frugal tip is, instead of going out to eat with friends, host a dinner party or brunch. It's up to you. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. So if you want to hear more tips, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.